Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host, just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. We'll get into Wednesday, March 6th. Basketball slate for you. Quite a bit of college games on as the smaller conferences are getting into tournament play. And a lot of big-time regular season college basketball games to finish it up. This is the last week of the regular season. Next week will be the finale of the conference tournaments as we wrap that up, and then we get into Selection Sunday, and then get rolling into maybe the best time of the year period, and that's called March Madness. So especially if you're a college basketball fan, but even if you're not, a lot of times you're going to pay attention to March Madness. So a lot of beautiful things going on there. So decent day yesterday. We hit both ends of a ladder parlay challenge as well. So we got a chance to really make some money on those a little bit later today. We will get into those, but we're going to start off with college basketball. Like I said, a lot of games going on. There's a couple interesting games early. Villanova, Seton Hall. We haven't played anything there yet, but still looking at that game. Boston College, Miami. Probably not going to play anything there as we get Miami has just underperformed all season long. But next the first game we are on, Tennessee goes to South Carolina. Tennessee wrapping up the SEC. They look like a Final Four team right now. I hope they're not peaking just maybe a couple weeks early. South Carolina has been really good at home. Still ranked in the top 20. Has had an excellent season, well above expectations there for South Carolina. With this line at 5.5 and a total of 139.5, though, we love the home team here. So we're going to take South Carolina +3 in the first half, +5.5 for the game. South Carolina +3 in the first half, +5.5 for the game. Next game up, TCU's another interesting one going to West Virginia. Northwestern, Michigan State. A couple more interesting games there, but we're not playing those as of yet. So do make sure you check out the Google Sheets at the end of the show. Or end of the episode. As we get closer to game time, we might play something there. One game we are on, though, is Houston UCF. Houston, number 1, number 2 in the country, wherever you want to put them. They're there. One of the better defenses, the best offensive rebounding team probably in the country. Going down to Central Florida to play UCF. UCF 8.5-point home dog, 131.5 total. UCF has played really tough at home. I think Houston's maybe a little bit too much here, but that 8.5 number is pretty sizable as UCF's kept a lot of game close. I expect this to be a huge grinded out type of game, maybe a game scored in the 120s, and with a 131.5 total, we love the under in this particular matchup. So we're going to take Houston UCF under 61.5 first half, under 131 for the game is where we got it. So one more time, Houston, UCF, under 61.5 first half, under 131 for the game. Let's see, next game up we're on, Loyola Chicago, Davidson. So Loyola Chicago, as of late on the road, has been well below par. We'll put it that way. Davidson pretty solid at home. The line is varied, so make sure you do shop this line. It's still available at a pick 'em money line game. In some spots, and 1.5 in some. Davidson's favored by 1.5 in some others. Even though, like FanDuel, for example, right now has Davidson -1.5, but they also got the money line at -110. I just think take the money line bet here. We like Davidson being at home. Like I said, Loyola Chicago's definitely struggled on the road as of late. So we'll take Davidson money line first half. Davidson money line for the game. One more time in that one, Davidson over Loyola Chicago money line first half and money line for the game. LSU, Arkansas, another interesting game as well. Richmond, St. Joseph's. So this line has moved here probably in the last hour and a half, just to give you a heads up as well. So it was 4.5 under that key number of 5. Richmond is the best team in the conference, them and Dayton. And St. Joe, and they're pricing this game like it's at a neutral, almost like it's a neutral court. The game should be probably closer to 8.5, 9. With home court advantage here, but we'll take advantage of the point spread. We're going to play Richmond. We did play, like I said, Richmond -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. One more time, Richmond over St. Joe's, -2.5 first half, -4.5 for the game. And you can still play 4.5 if you're playing alt line there. I like keeping under that key number of 5. I might even play it at 5 to save a little bit of juice. It just brings a push into play as well. And then we'll get into the next game that we're on here. There was an interesting one that we looked at, and that's Rice-Charlotte. Charlotte did beat Rice in double overtime earlier in the season at Rice, and only a 7.5-point favorite at home. So we'll look at that one as well on that. Florida Atlantic, North Texas is another one of those games we want to take a look at. North Texas has been on fire as of late. And Florida Atlantic, they're a good team. They just haven't been dominant like a lot of people expected them to this season. Next game up for us, though, is going to be UConn, Marquette. UConn traveling to Marquette. So normally favorites in these top 10 teams, normally the favorites win and cover, seem to cover 72% of the time, which is a huge number, right? This is what you have to remember about UConn. I'm going to replay the Creighton game for you, where they got smashed by 20 plus. And Creighton has beat as many top 10 teams on the road as they've won national titles in the last 10 years, which is like 2. I don't expect them to win here. I thought this line would be well under 5, so getting this 5.5 number feels like a big break as well. So we'll take Marquette plus 2.5 first half, plus 5.5 for the game. One more time, Marquette plus 2.5 first half, plus 5.5 for the game. Vanderbilt, Kentucky. Unless you're looking at totals, that game should pretty much of a snooze, I think. So on that one. But we'll get into BYU, Iowa State. This is the next game we're on here. Iowa State at home. They're deadly at home, folks. And they have one of the best defenses in the country as well. Just keep that in mind on that one there. I think the line at 6.5, we're fine. No problem there with Iowa State. That 144.5 is all because I think of BYU. I don't expect this game might be played in the 120s, let alone 140s on this one. I expect Iowa State to pretty much control the pace of this game. BYU does not shoot the 3 as well on the road. No surprise there. No team does. But that's a majority of where their offense comes from, is behind that 3-point line. So we really like Iowa State in this matchup, and we're going to play it 2 different ways. So Iowa State minus 3.5 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. And then we're also going to take under 69 first half and under 147 total for the game. I mean, that total total has come down to 144.5. I think everybody kind of saw that 147, kind of pounded it under. I'm still comfortable at that 144.5, but that 145 or 147 number that it opened with was, I thought, a gift, especially if you wanted to play the under in that particular matchup. But one more time in that one, Iowa State minus 3.5 first half, minus 6.5 for the game. Iowa State, BYU under 69 total first half, under 147 for the game. Next game up, Minnesota, Indiana. What can you say about Minnesota? Besides, you've been a godsend, thank you, all season long for all the wonderful covers. We expect another one today. Indiana is not the Indiana we think of with Bobby Knight and all that kind of stuff. It is a struggle for them to score. The one thing I will say about Minnesota that makes them so unique, normally if you're a good cover team, you're a really good free throw shooting team as well. That is not the case with Minnesota. They have been below par on the free throw line all season long. But that being said, you got to love them today, especially being at home. Maybe they struggle a little bit first half would be the only thing I could think of, maybe tripping this bet up. But they should, double-digit win would not shock me here at all for Minnesota. So Minnesota minus 3 first half, minus 5 for the game. Minnesota minus 3 first half, and minus 5 for the game is how we're betting that one. And then we get into Utah State and San Jose State is the last game that we're on in college basketball today. Utah State, probably best team in Mountain West. San Jose State, one of the worst. I understand that Utah State's going on the road here. I don't think it's going to bother them. They have been a solid ball club in conference on the road as well. As solid as you can be. Nobody's going undefeated on the road in probably any conference, no matter how dominant they are. But we expect Utah State to cruise in this one. I'm surprised it's only 10.5. Expected the line probably to be closer to 12-13. So Utah State minus 6 first half. We did catch this at minus 10 for the game. Utah State minus 6 first half and minus 10 for the game. Then we'll get into the NBA slate for you. We've got, it looks like an 8-game slate, so medium-sized slate for the NBA tonight. First game up, Magic at the Wizards. Magic laying 7 on the road, 224 total. Magic come off a back-to-back with a win against Charlotte. That's, when you look at back-to-back schedules, it's not a bad back-to-back to have Charlotte and the Hornets and the Wizards in those 2 games. Now, they did cover yesterday. Charlotte rolled over and died. The Wizards are one of those teams that should roll over and die as well. They were... One weird thing, I understand the Magic were 8.5-point favorite last night, and it's 7 tonight due to the fact that it's, figure it's a back-to-back game for them, and the Wizards are coming off rest. But the Magic are making their run, folks. If you watch, by the time the season gets to a finale here, they should have a really good playoff spot, be ready to rock and roll. First time in the playoffs in a minute. Banchero does hit our best bet for us last night in this point total, just getting there late. It's not that he struggled from the field, he just didn't take a ton of shots. He didn't get a ton of rebounds or offensive rebounds where he does get some points, so that kind of maybe stifled his scoring a little bit. His point total did go up, though, from 21.5 to 23.5. A little concerning on that one there, but otherwise, I don't see... Unless the Wizards completely muck this thing up, I don't see how the Magic don't get a win and cover here. But we love the Magic tonight. We'll take a -2 first quarter, -4 first half, -7 for the game. Denny Avita for the Wizards under 14.5 points. Then we've got a bunch of Wendell Carter, a little bit of Jalen Suggs and Banchero as well. So let's get into those. Jalen Suggs, 2+ threes. Paolo Banchero over 6.5 rebounds. And then we also like Wendell Carter a lot tonight, as they really don't have much of a defensive presence around the rim. So Carter over 11.5 points, 1+ three-pointer, 2+ threes, 8+ rebounds, 10+ rebounds, over 21.5 par. That's points, assists, rebounds combined, and 1+ block for Wendell Carter Jr. Expect him to have a big night. Should be, I would think that he's had some good looks. He did again last night again from Charlotte. They don't play much better three-point defense in D.C., so don't expect that to be an issue. He should have some looks for there. 2 would be awesome. 1 gets it home on that one there. And then expect him to get a lot of rebounds on the interior. Not a big, since the Gafford trade, not that Gafford was a 12-rebound-a-night guy, but they have struggled to rebound the ball even more on that particular one there. So one more time in this Magic and Wizards matchup. Magic -2 first quarter, -4 first half, -7 for the game. Denny Avita for the Wizards under 14.5 points. We got Jalen Suggs, 2+ threes. Banchero over 6.5 rebounds. And then we're on Wendell Carter quite a bit. So Wendell Carter, we have over 11.5 points, 1+ three, 2+ threes, 8+ rebounds, 10+ rebounds, over 21.5 par, and 1+ block. So quite a bit of action in that early game for us, Magic and the Wizards. Next game up, Clippers, Rockets. Clippers 6.5-point favorite at Houston. Houston as a home dog has been good. I'm not surprised by the line here, I shouldn't say, but I don't know here. This one's to me is a little I don't know. If the Clippers were like a 4.5-point favorite, we'd probably be on top of this, or something to that effect. Or if it was 8.5 on the other way, we'd probably be on the Rockets here. But this game, the line looks pretty tight at 6.5, 223 total. We're going to stay away from the side in the total on this one. Sengun has obviously a huge night last night against Wemby, so Rockets coming off that back-to-back. We'll see exactly what happens. There's a big difference, though, between that the Spurs defense and then that Clippers defense. So just player props in this one for us tonight. Paul George, under 21.5 points, under 3.5 threes. Sengun, under 9.5 rebounds. He had that monster last night, so maybe a little bit of regression there on that one. And James Harden, over 2.5 turnovers. So one more time, Paul George under 21.5 points, under 3.5 threes. Sengun under 9.5 rebounds, and James Harden over 2.5 turnovers. Old reliable there for us. And that Harden turnovers on DraftKings earlier was like minus 120, so not a lot of juice on that one either. Next game up in the NBA for us, Cavaliers at the Hawks. Cavs come off a huge win they stole that game last night against the Celtics. I could not believe what I was watching. Celtics dominated that game from basically tip till fourth quarter, doing what they do, which is blow leads in the fourth on the road. That and most of the time doesn't come back to maybe bite them in the ass for a loss, but it does come to bite them on a cover. That's why they continue to have this first half against the number record that's just phenomenal. But when it comes to the final score, a little bit different story. So betting the Celtics this year has been, if you've been sticking to the first quarter and first half, you've been extremely profitable. And unfortunately, we still bet the game and maybe lose a little bit there that we shouldn't. But like I said, Cavs come off a big win, and that's without Garland having a monster as well. So that was also helpful, I think, for tonight, because they're going to need Darius Garland quite a bit with Donovan Mitchell still being out. Obviously, Trae Young for the Hawks still out till April-ish, if not for the season. On that one, Hawks are 2.5-point favorite at home, 215 total on this one. Should be a lot of DeJounte Murray. It should be a lot of Darius Garland. It should be a lot of Jalen Johnson, and we'll kind of see where the chips fall on this one here. Hawks, one of the worst teams against the number all season long. No question about that. They have just not been... even when they got hot for a couple games and then all of a sudden they went back to their ways. They got hot for like a 3-game stretch and then all of a sudden went back to, couldn't cover nothing one more time. But we're staying away from this side, and the total on this one, just playing player props here. And going to be focused on Darius Garland, basically, and DeJounte Murray. So we'll start off with Garland, over 22.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, 8+ assists, 10+ assists, over 33.5 par for Garland. DeJounte Murray, over 22.5 points as well, 2+ threes, 3+ threes for DeJounte, 8+ assists, 10+ assists, over 35.5 par. So the numbers are actually pretty close and juice pretty close for both of these guys. The difference is DeJounte looks like he's going to get a couple more rebounds maybe per game. As that par number is a little bit higher, but otherwise, and Darius is expected to have a few more threes on that one there. So, that's kind of what we see on that one. But it should be these two guys kind of leading the show, I think, for both ball clubs. To try to get a win here. So one more time in this Cavs and Hawks game, just player props, and it's DeJounte Murray and Garland. So we'll start off with Garland, over 22.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, 8+ assists, 10+ assists, over 33.5 par. And then DeJounte Murray, over 22.5 points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, 8+ assists, and 10+ assists, and over 35.5 par. So a lot of bets on those two guys in that particular game. We think it's going to boil down to the point guards on the Hawks and the Cavs matchup. Next game up, Grizzlies at the 76ers. 76ers, 5.5-point home favorite, 211.5 total. I don't know if Maxey started concussion protocol, so I don't know why it was showing game time decision. I don't think there's any way he's back for tonight. Grizzlies come off a win. It was a miracle win, but still come off a win. I don't know how to explain these two teams. I really don't. It's just, if you like watching bad basketball, this is probably your matchup. Jaren Jackson may be back tonight for the Grizzlies. There were some player props on him, but still, questionable going into tonight. I don't like the side. We do like the total in this one, though. We like the under here, as neither team is, without their primary scorers, have been, how do I put this, extremely score happy on this one. So we like the under in this particular matchup, and so a few props here. So let's get into that. 76ers Grizzlies, under 51.5 first quarter, under 103.5 first half, under 211.5 for the game. And then Tobias Harris, I understand he had a couple good games. Congratulations, Tobias. We're going to go back to the under 20.5 points, under 31.5 par, and the 76ers under 107.5 team total. I think this game might struggle to get to 200. I'll be really honest with you on this one. So one more time in the 76ers and Grizzlies matchup, under 51.5 total first quarter, under 103.5 first half, under 211.5 for the game. Tobias Harris under 20.5 points, under 31.5 par, and the 76ers under the 107.5 team total in that matchup there. Next game on the NBA slate, going to be Bulls at the Jazz. Bulls have been right around 3.5, 4-point favorite most of the day, going to Utah. No Lauri Markkanen again for the Jazz. Jazz have quite a few players out. Walter Kessler's out and some other pieces there. And then you got the Bulls walking in. They get beat by Milwaukee last. It's been a little rough, put it to you that way. Bulls 3.5-point favorite on the road. 224 total. The line's a little confusing here. Expected more of a pick'em game, to be really honest here. I understand there's a lot of injuries on the Jazz, and that's probably competing for a lot of this line here, but it's not that the Bulls are so much better. And not only that, home court advantage, and now you're telling me the Bulls are a 3.5-point favorite? Almost like they're begging you to take the Jazz here. 224 total. Could see a little bit higher scoring game than that as well. So we're going to stay away from side and total there. We do like quite a few player props in this game, though, so we'll get started with those. We're dealing with the point guards again, Sexton and Kobe White a lot here in this game. So we'll start off with Colin Sexton stuff here. Over 21.5 points, 2+ threes for Sexton as well. And then we've got Sexton 25+ points, over 30.5 par, and over 1.5 turnovers. And then we've got Kobe White over 22.5 points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, 25+ points, over 33.5 par. So one more time in that Jazz and Bulls matchup. Let's get going here. Colin Sexton over 21.5 points, 2+ threes, 25+ points, over 30.5 par, and over 1.5 turnovers. Kobe White over 22.5 points, over 3.5 threes, we'll just say 3+ threes and 4+ threes for Kobe, over 33.5 par, and also a 25+ points in that particular matchup there. Next game up, though, should be probably the marquee matchup of the night here. Bucks going out to the Bay to visit Golden State. Bucks right around 4-point dog roughly. Some books 4.5. Golden State favorite at home, 227 total. Giannis still questionable, did not play last game. I don't think, the way it sounds is we're not going to see him tonight, and that's kind of the way we're playing this now. There's a little bit of risk in that involved, obviously. This line, I think, goes down to closer to a pick'em game if Giannis plays, but we're not foreshadowing. We're not thinking we're going to see Giannis tonight. We'll put it to you that way on this one. So we're going to play Golden State in this one. The Warriors -0.5 first quarter, -2.5 first half, -1 third quarter, -4 for the game. Now, Warriors come off a 50-point drubbing by the Celtics. Last game on the road, couple nights off, get back at home, try to get this right again. As they're the 10th seed currently out west. I don't know if they're going to get out of the play-in tournament, but they'd like to get to that 7-8 where it gives them 2 opportunities to move through. The Bucks, looks like they're going to be a 2 seed if they keep going. They've played well after starting off so horrible under Doc Rivers. They've definitely turned this around a little bit. They got a win the other night as well that I didn't think they were going to grasp. They were down majority of the game without Giannis and ended up sneaking one out and ended up covering the original number too. So they went from against the Clippers, they went from basically a 4.5 point favorite to a 3-point dog and ended up winning by 6 or 7. So one of those games they pulled out. Lillard had a 40+ point game. He was all over the place. He shot a ton of free throws though, as he usually does when he's driving to the hoop a bunch. He does get it. If Jason Tatum got as many calls, Jason Tatum might average 35 a night too. So, but the Warriors should be. This should be a circled game, like on the calendar. So. Like I said, Warriors -0.5 first quarter, -1 third quarter, -2.5 first half, -4 for the game. We like Jonathan Kuminga tonight. The last matchup against the Bucks, he had 20+ points, and the point total's at 16.5, so we'll take over there. Draymond Green, 1+ 3-pointer, 8+ rebounds, 10+ rebounds. We also, I forgot, Jonathan Kuminga over 24.5 par as well. And then we're also going to take Damian Lillard, 3+ threes and 4+ threes in this one. In fact, 3+ threes is our best bet for the day. I'm surprised the number was a little bit low. Now, he only did hit 4 3-pointers in that 41-point game. But if he is the offense tonight, the Golden State defense is not fabulous at the 3-point line, so I think Lillard should take quite a few threes. He just needs, if he throws a few more up, he just didn't shoot a lot of threes in the last one. So one more time in this Warriors-Bucks matchup, Warriors -0.5 first quarter, -1 third quarter, -2.5 for the game. I'm sorry, 2.5 first half and -4 for the game. Kuminga over 16.5 points, over 24.5 par. Steph Curry over 2.5 turnovers. Lillard for 3+ threes and 4+ threes. Draymond Green 1+ 3, 8+ rebounds, and 10+ rebounds in that one. Next game up on the board, as we get down to the last two of the night here, Thunder going to the Trailblazers. Thunder have been anywhere from 13 to 14-point favorite in this one. The Thunder, as a double-digit favorite on the road, are 0-3 against number this season, if that means anything for you. On that one there. It's not that they're a bad team on the road. Maybe just start off a little slow and therefore don't cover that number, or get up big and the second and third unit kind of allow a lot of scoring late. But 13.5, total at 224. We couldn't play. I really want to play the Thunder here. I'll be really honest with you folks, but they've been wish-wash, so to speak, against Portland. I don't think Portland has their number necessarily. But it's just one of those teams they haven't dominated. I almost trust them better at a low number against one of the best teams in the league on this one. So we'll stay away from a side and a total on that one. Do have quite a few player props we're on here. So let's get into those. SGA, over 31.5 points. SGA, 6+ assists and 2+ steals. Anthony Simons, he has not had good games against the Thunder. So under 24.5 points, under 34.5 par, and over 3.5 turnovers. And then Chet Holmgren, we like tonight as well. We're going to take Holmgren 2+ threes. We also have Holmgren 3+ blocks, 4+ blocks, 5+ blocks as well. And then we'll take Holmgren as well over 27.5 par. And somewhere in that mix should be Holmgren over 15.5 points as well. So sorry about that one here. Kind of lost track a little bit. So one more time. In this matchup here, let's go with, we'll get this started again. SGA over 31.5 points, 6+ assists, 2+ steals. Anthony Simons under 24.5 points, under 34.5 par, over 3.5 turnovers. Holmgren over 15.5 points, 2+ threes, over 27.5 par, 3+ blocks, 4+ blocks, and 5+ blocks. So last game of the day we'll get into. And last game on the board should be Kings, Lakers. Lakers currently favored by 2 at home against Sacramento. 239.5 total. This game here, I'll be really honest with you. The Kings have been kind of a disappointment from last year, sure, but the Lakers have been as well. So both teams, they're kind of heading in the wrong direction, so to speak. The Lakers, though, at home, we do like. Kings on the road have been kind of a mess, to say the least. But we do like the Lakers in this particular matchup to be able to cover this number and get another win on this one. So we actually got it at the 2.5 number for the Lakers. So Lakers -0.5 first quarter, -1.5 first half, -2.5 for the game. Anthony Davis over 25.5 points and 3+ blocks. His rebound props getting up there. 14 against Sabonis is a big number on that one. Then we like D'Angelo Russell for 3+ threes. We're also going to take LeBron over 25.5 points, over 41.5 par, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, and 4+ threes for LeBron. So one more time in this Lakers and Kings matchup, Lakers -0.5 first quarter, -1.5 first half, -2.5 for the game. Anthony Davis over 25.5 points and 3+ blocks for AD. LeBron over 25.5 points, over 41.5 par, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, and 4+ threes. And D'Angelo Russell for 3+ threes for the Lakers. Last two plays we're going to go through is going to be a part of our ladder challenge. We hit both sides of this yesterday. It was a 3-point ladder and a block ladder. Just to go over yesterday, we hit Wemby 4+ blocks, Nick Claxton and Porzingis both 2+ blocks. That paid plus 453. And then we hit the 3-pointer parlay. Duncan Robinson 4+ threes, Luka Doncic 4+ threes, and Emmanuel Quickley 3+ threes. That paid plus 818 yesterday. So today we're doing a blocks and threes again on this ladder challenge. This one here, so we'll go through the threes first. It's going to be Jalen Suggs with the Magic for 2+ threes, Damian Lillard 3+ threes, and Chet Holmgren for 2+ threes. That's at plus 550. So you take that 8.18 units at plus 550 for that one. And then the blocks parlay, Wendell Carter Jr. 1+ block, Chet Holmgren 3+ blocks, and AD 3+ blocks. That's plus 596 on FanDuel. We take the 453 winner we had yesterday. We bet 4.53 units on that one to see where we end up in the ladder challenge. So one more time in that ladder challenge, the threes are going to be Suggs 2+ threes, Lillard 3+ threes, Holmgren 2+ threes. Blocks parlay is going to be Carter 1+ block, Holmgren 3+ blocks, and Anthony Davis 3+ blocks. So at the end of every episode, we mentioned this a couple times already. There will be a link in the comments section to what we call our Google Sheets. This is a ledger of all of our bets, what juice we got those at, how many units, and then what book we placed that at, and then obviously the result when the games are finished up. So make sure you do check that out. There are going to be multiple sports that we bet on, so there's multiple tabs when you get in there. It's going to be a couple years of football, baseball last year, baseball futures so far for this year, basketball, obviously, that we just went through. Also, if you're into some of the other non-mainstream sports like golf, Formula One, UFC, that type of stuff, we've also got a separate tab for those. If it wouldn't be for golf this year, we'd be dominating that sheet as well. But if you're big into Formula One like we are, it's been a good one race. We'll put it to you that way on that one there. So make sure you do check all that out. We are volume better. It is almost impossible to follow along completely with every bet. So that's the way you can see everything that we've got money on and what we've placed, kind of where you need to go from there. So it's your ultimate cheat sheet. And if you don't have enough time to watch the show, you can always refer back to the Google Sheet. Those are updated as we make bets. So some days we might be a day or two ahead where there's no juice out yet, but lines, teams we're interested in, we might have some of those placed. But once we put the juice on it, how many units and what book, we have placed that bet. So make sure you check that out when you get some time. And as always, if you can subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, so when we drop a new episode of bets, you get those first. It makes life really simple to find us once you hit that subscribe button. Turn notifications on for YouTube. You'll get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped some new bets. Give you plenty of time to match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window. I do appreciate everybody's support as always and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.